opinion, they can never make me hate Calypso. There's something about her that I just love. Odysseus washes up on the Isle of Aegea, which is Calypso's island. This is after he's lost all his men, his ship. He is completely alone and definitely traumatized. He washes up. Calypso comes up to him. She's like, is that a dead body? Turns him over, sees he's still breathing a little, and she takes him to his cottage. And with the help of, get ready for this, with her servants, because she wasn't alone on that island. She wasn't alone. And yes, back then, okay, servants weren't considered real people. But if you're that alone for 100 years, would you not have a key with the people around you? Would you not start a book club with your servants, Calypso? With the help of her servants, she nurses Odysseus back to health. Calypso's island is paradise. She has the best fruits, the best wine. If she leaves you something, it's going to be Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton. It doesn't matter. This island has the best of the best, and it's the best place for Odysseus to recover. Calypso's name is really important in this story as well. Calypso translates to she who conceals. If that isn't easier to understand for you, think of Frozen. Conceal, don't feel. Conceal equals don't feel. So what is Calypso concealing for Odysseus? She is concealing the trauma that he has just experienced. By being on this island, he can forget for a little while that he has lost all his men. He's completely alone. The trauma from the Trojan War, the fact that he hasn't been home for so long, she's helping him conceal that. On this island, Odysseus also has the opportunity to simply be, to just be a man. He doesn't have to be this hero who has to make dire decisions that can cause so many consequences, losing all your men, so much like guilt. He can just be a person and live. So she's concealing his trauma from everything he's experienced. She's concealing the fact that he doesn't have to make these crazy decisions that will in turn affect his mental health. And she's also concealing what his future holds. Will he ever get back to Ithaca? Has Penelope moved on? Have they forgotten about him? Because of all this, Odysseus allows himself to heal. On this island, he's eating the best food, he's drinking the best wine, he's with a goddess, for crying out loud, who's healing him, and I'm sure, and this is me talking, I'm sure they had conversations where she becomes this shoulder to cry on, this person who really lets him speak and let him be while he's fully recuperating. What I love about Calypso is she doesn't ask for anything but two things from Odysseus for being on this island. All she wants is some hanky-panky, and for him to allow her to love him. Not for him to love her, for him to allow her to love him. Girl, let me love you. Like all great things, if they're too great for too long and too perfect, they can get a little boring. Think of that SpongeBob episode where Squidward goes to Squidward Town and everyone buys the same canned meat and bicycles, and everyone loves jazz and everyone loves modern dance, and Squidward throughout the episode is like, and that's Odysseus. He becomes really tired of the perfect island of Aegea. Because he's tired, he asks the question. He's like, can I go? Can I go back to my wife? This has been great, Calypso, but I think it's time for me to bounce. Calypso's a little confused by this request. She doesn't really understand because she's a goddess. She is in her peak physical health. She's stunning. She has this perfect island with perfect food and perfect everything. And Odysseus wants to go back to Penelope, who's a middle-aged woman who might have moved on by now, but also to an imperfect home? She doesn't get it. And she thinks it's a tantrum. Odysseus, you want to go back home? This is just a phase. I'll let you have your little tantrum, and I'll just wait it out because I'm a god. So time means nothing to me. So you can have your tantrum as long as you want, and I'll just wait until you're ready to come back and love me. And that's what happens. And 7 years pass. I should preface that none of this that I have said is actually in the Odyssey, but this is scholar commentary assuming things from what is in the Odyssey. So this is all assuming. You can come up with your own conclusions. Really, I'm sharing this because I also side with this information. And finally, after 7 years, Athena steps in. I mean, the fact that he can't go home is one thing, but also the fact that he can live forever on this island. So on this island, he has all this time to mourn everything he's grown to know and love in Ithaca. The fear of never returning to Ithaca really haunts him. The fact that he could live here forever and Penelope will die and Telemachus will die and everyone in Ithaca will forget about him because he hasn't returned to tell his story. And then going to war and losing all your men means nothing because you can't even go back home. It's just, none of it's going to be worth it. So he becomes really depressed from this. Finally, Athena steps in. Why does it take Athena 7 years to step in? She's also a god, so time means nothing. 7 years really isn't a lot when you can live forever. But also, can't forget about Poseidon. Poseidon is watching Odysseus, okay? He is making sure that if he steps on those waters again, he's coming after him. But luckily, the people of Ethiopia are celebrating Mardi Gras. And they invite Poseidon. They're like, Poseidon, we're having Mardi Gras. We're celebrating you this year. Come party with us. And Poseidon's like, a party? About me? I'm going. And although Poseidon is a god, he's not omniscient. So once he leaves, he don't know what's going on. Athena takes this opportunity. She runs to Papa Zeus and she's like, Father, God, King, rarely do I ask for favors. And she's like, Zeus, Papa, Odysseus is your home skilly biscuit, okay? He tithes, he sacrifices, he tells everyone to worship Zeus, and we need to get him out because Calypso is holding him hostage right now, and we need to do something. Zeus, playing the politician that he is, he's like, oh, the politics of the gods, I can't overstep Poseidon, he's gonna be really mad at me if I do, so I really can't, like, yes, Odysseus is set to go home, but, like, because Poseidon's mad at him, I kind of gotta let him do his thing. Athena's like, let me stop you right there, Poseidon is not in town. And Zeus is like, oh, word, Hermes, go tell Calypso to get Odysseus off that island. Hermes appears on the island of Aegea and is like, hey, Calypso, and Calypso's like, what are you doing here? And this is really rude. This is really rude in Greek culture. Because in Greek culture, you're supposed to give someone a meal and then ask what their business is. She's getting straight to the point. So she's being extremely rude. Hermes, what are you doing here? Hermes, not playing games, is like, we're gods. We both know why I'm here. We both know why I'm here, Calypso. He gives it back to her. He's like, Calypso, by the order of Zeus, you need to relinquish Odysseus to the people he loves. Calypso crashes out. Of course Calypso crashes out. Of course Calypso crashes out. She's like, I'm the one he loves. And she starts throwing shit. And, like, it's just... Hermes in Hermes fashion says, hey, don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. And he bounces out of there. Calypso finds Odysseus across the island crying because he's been crying for 7 years. And she, starts, someone arrived today. They said they're taking you away. And she's like, you're gonna go home. And he's like, don't taunt me, you're always taunting me, like, just because I miss my wife and my kids in Ithaca, like, you're always taunting me, and, like, I just want to go home. She's like, wow, you're so cute when you're sad. He's like, if you're telling me the truth, can you pinky promise, then I'm actually gonna go home. She pinky promises. They have a dinner that night. Calypso is not gonna let up that easy. She's gonna try at least one more time, and she's like, Odysseus, I am beautiful, I'm smart, I am pretty, I am tall, I can give you anything you want. Why Penelope? Why her and not me? And she crashes out again, or is on the brink of crashing out. Odysseus can sense this a mile away. So what does Odysseus do? Remember, he's very cunning, manipulative. He knows the right thing to say until he doesn't. And he gives her the words that she needs to hear in order not to crash out. And he's like, Calypso, you're so right. You will never compare to Penelope. You will never compare to her in beauty, in physique, in stature, in what you can provide for me, but I just miss home. And this resonates with Calypso, and it allows her to let the situation go. Off of assumptions, I can only assume she resonates with this because she cannot compete with the home that he was raised and grew to love. She cannot compete with that. That she can create him a new home. She can be better than Penelope, but she cannot compete with Ithaca, the place he was raised at. I can also assume that the reason this resonates with her is because she's been imprisoned on this island her whole life. And I'm sure she's wanted to go home many a times and couldn't. So when Odysseus says this to her, I think it finally clicks for her that, like, if I never wanted to be on this island, I don't want to do that to anyone else. So the next day, they build a raft. They fill the raft with the best foods, drinks, clothing, and all the stuff that she can give him. She says goodbye, and he gets on his merry way. But guess who comes back from that party in Ethiopia? Poseidon's pissed.